大家好，我是 Olive Branch Allen. Do you ever feel like sometimes that your arms are a bit flabby and they're loose, or maybe your legs aren't as firm or toned as you'd like them to be? Well, the reason actually isn't about your exercise program per se. It's actually something else, and the answer might actually put you off from steaks for a while, but it's important for your health. The reason actually may be because of intramuscular fat. Now, that's a big word, but really what it means is marbling in meat. So if you ever buy a really expensive steak and they show you the cut, you can see a lot of the white pockets of fat inside the meat. That's actually intramuscular fat. And cows have it, and that's what makes steaks taste good. But humans have it too, and this is what makes your meat or your muscles tender or not as firm as you'd like. I have mentioned in previous videos about subcutaneous fat, which is the fat that's just underneath the surface of your skin. But this intramuscular fat is actually embedded in the muscle as well, as you see in steak cuts. So this is actually caused by inactivity. In other words, by not moving enough, by not exercising or moving in general. And what happens is your muscle starts to make fat droplets that starts to appear around your muscle fibers. So if you can imagine this is a piece of your muscle, there are satellite cells that are surrounding it. And when they get the information, the environment or hormones tell them to either repair muscle fibers because you've been exercising hard and you've made damage and they come in and they repair it, or if been due to too much inactivity, then what they'll do is they'll actually make fat cells out of it and be deposited in the fat muscles themselves. So it's very important, guys, that you always think about being active. And long periods of inactivity, like in a lockdown, for example, can mean that you'll be creating a lot of intramuscular fat that you might not even see in the mirror because it's not subcutaneous fat, right? It doesn't show up under the skin. It's inside the muscle, which is more dangerous in some ways because you can't detect it. Now, if you have an excessive accumulation of this intramuscular fat, well, then there are a lot of negative repercussions. For example, your insulin resistance will go up, meaning you can't handle insulin, which means your pancreas will have to secrete more insulin, and insulin is shown to be related to a lot of diseases now. There's more inflammation as well. If you have more intramuscular fat, it'll create more of these free radicals that can harm your body and lead to cancer down the road. It'll also lead to obesity as well as decrease in muscle strength and functionality. So your mobility will be impaired, which means you won't be moving as much and you'll feel even lazier and feel even weaker. And that will actually impact you as you continue to be inactive in your life. This intramuscular fat is a strong indicator of this muscle impairment, and this will cause the hospitalization and further injuries down the road. So how do you prevent having intramuscular fat, or how to reduce it if you already have some? Well, again, the answer is not going to be too surprising, but it is having a really good diet and exercising properly, because the key is to burn fat, and your body chooses where to burn fat. But if you can at least start to eat less and eat higher quality foods that's low in sugar and refined carbohydrates, and you're exercising high intensity, then your body will chip away at your intramuscular fat as well as subcutaneous fat as well as visceral fat. So even if you're not doing high intensity exercise, you can still be very active. You can always choose to take the stairs, for example, instead of waiting for elevators. You can choose to walk a little faster. You can carry more of your groceries instead of using these carts. So there's many ways you can still be active. You can of course do aerobic type exercises, and that will all help. High intensity, of course, is just a much more efficient way of doing that. So in conclusion, guys, intramuscular fat is good in steaks, but not in humans. It is a slippery slope, meaning once you start the process, it's easier to become lazier and lazier and be weaker. And so you really want to stop it in its tracks and to stay active. That's it, guys, for today. I hope you found that useful. Like always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.